Hi everyone, it's Carol here. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make these long chain earrings. They're basically made with a few beads. These are orange Indian lampwork beads, and I've got some glass crystals here as well, and a few of the tiny 3mm black balls, and just a piece of chain. So I'll walk you through the process and let you know everything you need to make these, and I'll leave links in the description below, everything that you need. If you like this video, please subscribe and ring the bell so that you'll be advised every time I upload a new video, and also that will help my channel grow so that I can bring you more content. Okay, let's get started. What you're going to need to make these earrings are 2 of these Indian glass lampwork teardrops, 22 of these 3mm ball beads, 16 of these 4mm faceted round glass crystal orange beads. These are more of the Indian lampwork beads, and these ones are 8mm long, and you'll need 4 of those. 4 of these 6mm round glass beads, and these are also from the Indian range. 2 ear wires, these ones are black, and you'll also need 22 of these head pins. These ones are black and they're 5 centimeters long. A piece of 20 gauge wire, that's about 20 centimeters long, and a 12 centimeter piece of chain. This one is a 5.5mm cable chain. As far as tools are concerned, you will need a ruler, you will need some chain nose pliers, you will need some flush cutters, and also some round nose pliers. You may also, this is optional, need another pair of chain nose pliers. Totally up to you. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is cut our chain. I have here a 12 centimeter piece, and what I'm going to do is cut it into half. So I lay it out beside my ruler. Now sometimes it's a little tricky to get it to be laid out nicely. Whoops. And then I'm going to measure where the 6 centimeter mark is, and it looks like it's about there. Now what I'm doing here is I'm holding it up with my cutters, and you can see there that the 2 pieces aren't actually the same size, so I'm going to move my cutters down 1 link until I get both pieces the same size, which is that one. Now I'm actually going to cut through that link. Just make sure you hold it so that it doesn't fly away, and I'm just going to remove that link from the 2 pieces of chain. So now I have 2 pieces of chain just shy of 6mm. Okay, so let's start making the dangle for this earring. The first thing I'm going to do is make sure that my wire is flush at the end. So I'm going to just snip off using the flush side of my cutters. I'm going to snip off the end of the wire, and I'm making sure that I cover it with my fingers so that it doesn't fly away. And it's just the tiniest wee piece. Just like that, just a teeny tiny piece. Okay, so now my wire is nice and flat here. It's not pointy. So taking my round nose pliers, I'm going to make a really tiny loop in the end. So I'm popping the wire between the jaws of the pliers right at the end there and twisting. So if you don't know how to make a simple loop, then please check out my making a simple loop video. And this one, I'm not even going to worry about closing it. What I'm going to do is just take my pliers here and give it a squeeze, because I want it to be quite flat. And just rotate that wire a little bit so that it's centered on that tiny squished loop. So you can see there it's not a perfect circle. That's absolutely fine. I just wanted it to be quite small. So first I'm going to put on my 3mm ball bead, and then I'm going to put on my orange faceted bead. Like that. And next I'm going to put on one of my teardrops. So that's basically the component. Now I'm going to wire wrap a loop at the top. If you haven't made a wire wrapped loop before, I have done a video on it, so please check that out first and maybe have some practice. So I'm going to take my chain nose pliers, and leaving a gap of about 3 or 4 centimeters at the top of the bead, I'm going to just twist so that I have a nice right angle in my wire. Now I'm going to take my round nose pliers and I'm going to push them up into that angle there, and I'm going to make a loop. Now this loop I want to be reasonably sized, so I'm actually, it's a bit far, going about 1 centimetre or so from the end of my pliers. And I'm going to just wrap the wire around, remove the wire from the jaws and reposition onto the bottom jaw, and then I'm going to bring the wire all the way around until it's really close, pointing towards me and coming in really close underneath the jaws here. Now I'm removing my round nose pliers, and I'm going to, most important thing first before I wrap the loop is to put the chain on, because once your loop is wrapped you will not be able to get the chain on. So I'm just threading the end of the chain onto the wire and bringing it up through the loop there. Sometimes getting it through the loop can be a bit of a challenge. You might need to give it a little bit of a pull, but it will get there. Okay. Now taking my chain nose pliers, I'm just going to hold the loop there in my pliers and I'm going to wrap it. Now you can, sometimes I use pliers, another pair of pliers for this, and sometimes I use my fingers. It depends on how strong you are, how strong your hands are, and how things are going. So this is going reasonably well with just my hands, so that's fine. Now you'll notice that I'm actually wrapping it over the top of the bead, like that. Now I'm going to turn it to the back side and just trim off that extra piece of wire using the flush side of my cutters. Now taking my pliers, I'm going to make sure I squeeze that in and almost, if I can, tuck it in underneath there. What you're looking for here is that it isn't sticking out, because you do not want it to be catching on your clothes. And you can reposition with your fingers and move the wire around. It's quite malleable at this stage. It's just popping out a little bit, so I could just still feel it a little bit. Right. Okay. So there's the first stage of our component, of our earring, the teardrop on the bottom of the chain. So what we're going to do next is make all of these beads dangles that are attached to the chain. So these are, all of them are using wire wrapped loops and the head pins. So let's start with that. We're going to start with this creamy orange one. So what we're going to do first is put on the little ball bead at the bottom onto the head pin, and then the bead, and we're going to do exactly the same thing, just bend this over, leaving a tiny gap. This time it's only about 1 millimetre or 2, and you'll find that working with head pins is slightly harder than working with 20 gauge wire because they're a bit thicker. Then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and make a small loop. This one doesn't want to be as big as the other one, so it's about 1/2 centimetre in from the end of the pliers. And I'm just going to wrap that wire around the back so that it's straight down. Remove the jaws, back onto the loop again, and bring it right around. As you can see, it's a little bit more challenging with the head pin. The wire's a bit tougher. So just bringing it round to the front. Now I'm going to use my chain nose pliers just to give it a straighten, and then I'm going to add it to my wire. Sorry, to my chain. I'm going to add it to my chain. If we have a look at this one, what I've done here is I've added one of these beads and one of these ones to that first loop. Not the one that I have added not the bottom one that I've added the dangle to, the next one up. So it's the second loop up. Taking my teardrop here with the chain attached, I'm going to pop it in through there and bring it up through the loop As I said, sometimes it's a little challenging to get it through the loop. And using my chain nose pliers, I'm going to hold the loop. Now this time I am going to use another pair of pliers to wrap the loop, just because this is a little bit firmer. And this time we're only going around a couple of times, not right down onto the bead like we did before. Now you do want to cut off the wire on the back, but honestly these move around so much that the back will become the front, so we don't really need to worry about it too much. So we take our cutters here and just snip off that excess as close as you can. Now you're not going to be able to get it right in there, but as close as you can, holding the end. And then just use your chain nose pliers to tuck in the end. So that's what we have now. And you can see that it's attached to that second loop. Okay, let's make the next one. So this time we're going to put the glass bead on first, and then we're putting the little ball on next at the top. So that's what we have. And we're going to make a wire wrapped loop at the top. So same thing again, just leaving a little space and bending it over at that 90-degree angle. Take your round nose pliers and make a small loop. You'll be an expert at making wire wrapped loops by the time you finish this. So there we have it. Pop on your chain. Now this bead goes on the same link as the previous one, so try to get it on the other side. So you can see this one sitting on this side, so this time I'm going to put it on this side. Now don't worry, don't stress too much about this because they will move around. They just do. Sometimes you might need to open the loop a little bit just to get your wire through. Okay. Now holding the wire with your chain nose pliers, the loop, and taking the end of your wire with your other pliers, and round you go. Oops. Sometimes it just doesn't want to go in the right place, so you might have to try a couple of times. There we go. Sometimes as best you try, you never get the wire in the right place. So taking my flush cutters, I'm just going to trim off the extra piece and tuck it down on in. So that's what we have now. So basically we're going to repeat that again. This time we're going to use one of our larger Indian glass beads, and we're not putting a little ball on this one. So just through the bottom of the bead, and same thing, a wire wrapped loop at the top. Remember to put it onto your chain before you close it up, or before you do wire wrapping, and we're going one up into the next link here. So these two loops these two beads are attached to this one, so we're actually going up into this one here. There we go, that's it. Okay, so now it looks like that. Referring back to this earring, I just want to make sure that I get them the same. So the next one is a small orange faceted bead, and it goes into the next loop of the chain. So you can see here this one went into that loop, so this one's going into this loop. And I'm putting it on the other side. So that's what we have now. So referring back to the first earring to make sure they're the same, so we're up to here. So in the next loop, we're actually going to, of the chain, the next loop of the chain, we're going to put another one of the glass faceted beads and this one here, this shiny bead. So let's go ahead and make those. Now we're going to add it to the next loop on the other side, so on the left side for me. So what we're going to do next is add a 4mm crystal into that same hole. Okay, so that's what we have now. Taking a look at the other earring so that it matches. So what we've done just now is these two beads here. Now what we're going to do next is this one here. So this one doesn't have a black ball at all, so it's just this bead on a wire wrapped loop. We're popping this one into the next link here. What we're going to do next is add 4 more of these faceted beads, one in the next 4 loops. So now we've attached all of the beads, and what we need to do now is attach the ear wire. I'm just going to double check that I've got all of the beads on here, just checking it against the other one. So it does look like they're all there. Just need to be sure. Next we're going to attach the ear wire. So what we need to do now is take the ear wire, and ear wires with these ones with the twist, this is a black one, they open on the inside here. So I'm going to take it with my chain nose pliers and hold the loop of the ear wire along the side here, and then I'm just going to twist up, holding the ear wire between my finger and my thumb. Now I'm going to take the earring, find the end of the chain, and just pop that chain onto the earring wire, and then I'm just going to reverse that process to close it up, so holding it along the side here and just wiggling it into place. And that's it, there's the chain earrings. As you can see, they're lying quite differently, but when you wear them they will look like they match. If you liked this video, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you'll be advised of any new videos that I release, and that would really help me out, help my channel grow so I can bring you more content. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.